Hello and welcome to Talk Good Game. It's just finished. West Ham 1, Spurs 3 in the League Cup as West Ham bow out. It's Halloween, but the only horror at the London Stadium was West Ham's individual defending. Gonzo, it took them just 16 minutes for Son to open the goal scoring. Occasionally I say to you, I'll show you a goal, show me a mistake. I'm going to ask you that for every single goal tonight, really, unfortunately.
Yeah, three errors. We were our own worst enemy in many respects this evening. Show you a mistake for that first goal. It can show you two, because in many respects he had a Ogbonna, who was the culprit for the initial bit of miscontrol, misplaced pass, whatever you want to call it. He had a second bite of the cherry, because when they then came back and they got possession, Tottenham had a sort of lucky ricochet, and there was a second chance for Ogbonna to deal with it, and he didn't. But I thought we put out a strong team today, Gio, and the one thing that we both said in the preview was keep the spine the same, keep Fabianski, keep Balbuena, keep Diop. And unfortunately, not only did we have Balbuena going out and Ogbonna coming in, because Ogbonna's left-footed, he played on the left, so Diop swapped position as well. When things were going so well, it was just too much of a change, and it cost us throughout the game.
Mike, the lead on the 16th minute. I mean, were you happy with the play so far, or do you think it was a deserved lead for Spurs? I mean, I felt for the first 20 minutes or so, we couldn't cope with our midfield. I actually thought their passing and stuff, you could tell they were a level above us, Mike.
I agree, actually. I thought it was quite an entertaining game until they scored. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was, but they looked like, when they had the ball, they looked like they were about to penetrate, and we just looked like we were going to faff about with it more. Do you know what I mean? It was like I thought we never got a grip of the midfield in the whole game. That opening 20 minutes goes to show. I was wondering where Obiang was for the entire game. He just seemed like, I know he's on the team sheet, but he was the only midfielder we really seemed to have was Rice, who was very good again today, but you can't stem Dele Alli and Eriksen on your own, Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? And I could just kept thinking, where the hell's Obiang gone? He just disappeared for the whole game, and they could roll right through us. I think it's a fair point.
Mike, after that, I mean, you could argue we got back into it a little bit. We had plenty of half chances, certainly for the second half of the first half, if you like, falling to Hernandez and Antonio mainly. Went in 1-0 down though. I mean, were you happy with what you were seeing in the first half, or was it just a bit unlucky, or what did you think, Mike?
We created a couple of great chances, one for Hernandez and one for Antonio, and we really needed to take one of those if we were going to win this game. I felt that we had the ball a lot, and we created a lot of corners and set pieces, which Anderson delivered terribly. Until Diangana took over and showed him how to do it, and he's about 12, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? So, but it was like we had enough chances to pull one back, and I think we should have done, given the quality of the chance. As the half progressed, I thought we grew into it a bit more. And as I say, Hernandez really should have done better with that great free kick from Diangana that he chested to the goalkeeper. That was really disappointing. Antonio as well had a great chance. I felt that, and as I say, how many free kicks and corners did we have in the first half as well? It was a lot. We had a lot of the ball as the half progressed, and we should have done more with those opportunities, I felt.
Gonzo, at half-time, Pellegrini made one change, perhaps unsurprisingly. Anderson was hooked and Snodgrass come on. What did you make of he got moved into a number 10 role tonight. It's more central Anderson. It's what the fans have been sort of wondering, if you like. If he went in there, would we see a better Anderson? What did you make of him?
Well, firstly, the substitution. That's a hell of a thing for Pellegrini to do for his record signing. That is... Well, I don't know what that will do to his confidence, if he had any confidence anyway. He was having a poor game, a really poor game, and he was being shown up by Diangana, very much so. And, in fact, Rice as well, and Diop and Diangana seemed like our younger players were the best players on our team at that point. He just struggles to make anything happen. And he did his thing. He did his thing, didn't he, if you remember? he tried to create a little race, and then he realised he wasn't going to win. He's not half as quick as he thinks he is, by the way. That would be Fredericks. He's quick, crikey. And he failed, and then he sort of dived, and he won the free kick on that. He did very, very little. He's very disappointing. I'm sort of holding off laying into him. I really am. But I don't want to. I didn't think he would work out anyway. At the start of the season, but I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong. But we discussed in a cup of tea that he might be worth 15, 20 million. His value is depreciating. That's certainly the case.
He was crap. He was awful in the first half. He really was. The games like this, you need your big players step up to, particularly when there's rotation. Okay, everyone does it in the League Cup. Spurs did it tonight as well. Everyone does it in the League Cup. And if you're the £40 million player at West Ham, you should be rested for this game. This should be the game. Actually, your manager doesn't want to put you in. He wants to keep you for the league game, like he's done with Zabaleta. He's took Zabaleta out, like he didn't play Arnautovic from the start. I know he's half fit Arnautovic, but there's a reason those two didn't start tonight. There's a reason he swapped one of his centre-backs as well. He's taken these important players out. Now, if you cost 40 million and you're playing in the League Cup game, that says something to you, and that is you're not up to scratch. There's a reason you're playing here tonight, and it's because you're not doing it. Now, he got moved into the number 10 role. His responsibility defensively was nil. He didn't have to get back in. People were thinking, has he got too much defensive responsibility to do out on the left wing? There's none in the number 10 role. He was up against Harry Winks and Wanyama. Neither of them went into our final third. None of them did. They both sat there. They controlled the game from the middle third and Spurs' third. Anderson had no defensive responsibility tonight. All he had to do was create something in the final third. And he couldn't do it. And for some reason, someone insists on him taking all the set pieces as well. And that drives me up the wall because against Man United, we've seen it, against Spurs. Actually, it was against Spurs. Like we played them last time a couple of weeks ago on the Saturday. His first three corners were crap, hitting the first man. Tonight, they started doing the same thing again from the word go. That's where it's a pity our captain is in goal because he's never going to be able to scream up the pitch and say, get him off the corners now. That's where you're missing a leader. And I include Mark Noble in this, actually. A captain with bollocks on the pitch. After the first one, say, you're not taking anymore. Get someone else over there. Diagana's free kick. He took a free kick near the end that Hernandez, I think, come off his chest and went to. Fantastic free kick. His corners are better than Anderson's. Snodgrass is our best set piece taker. I know he wasn't on the pitch at the time, but there's no reason Anderson should be taking these. They're actually... It was visible to everybody in the crowd against Spurs. Every time he took a crap corner, he just he shrunk a little bit. He become a less player, if you like. And we gave him the responsibility tonight that when someone's so low in confidence in that form, the last thing you do is give them more responsibility. It's just stupid. It's that old saying, isn't it? If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's a sign of an idiot or whatever. Well, it's idiotic giving Anderson corner duty and all of a sudden expecting him to be smacking him onto the head of Diop. It's really frustrating me. And I was actually glad to see him go off at halftime. And I was glad to see Snodgrass come on because what wound me up more in the first half, this is supposed to be a London derby. It's supposed to be a cup game under lights. There is no tackles going in, none whatsoever. Spurs should have had 2 or 3 bookings in the first half, right? But they weren't for dirty tackles, they were for cynical pulling down ones, right? We shouldn't have had any. We should not have had any bookings in the first half, and we shouldn't have had any in the second half. I've seen Rice putting a couple of slide tackles, maybe, and that was it. This against Spurs. Nah, come on. Where is the heart and passion? There was none in the first half. And I thought Snodgrass would inject that. And to be fair, he does. He does inject that. Gonzo was 2-0 not long after the first half. We come out with our tails up a little bit. Antonio had a really good chance where he shrugged off, I can't remember the young player's name, Foyth or whatever, the young centre-back.
Good player. Good player.
Hesitated a bit. Keeper got there. He's a fantastic keeper, that Gazinga, how he says his name. He is a really, really good keeper. Every time I see him, I'm impressed. He's overtaken Vorm in the pecking order for a reason. Good goalkeeping. But we just got sucker punched. We weren't taking our chances at the end of the first half, at the start of the second half. And this was just, well, Gonzo, I'll ask it again. 2-0, show me mistake.
Yeah, well, there you go. This time, I mean, he almost did everything wrong, didn't he? Masuaku, his timing, positionally, his judgment. And they were in again. And I'll hark back to the fact of you're tinkering with a defence, and there was just so much wrong today. So he was meant to have Diop next to him, how we normally play. Now he's not. He's got Ogbonna, who's having a terrible game, atrocious, terrible game. We talk about Anderson's value going down. My goodness, Ogbonna must be worth minus money for your football index at the moment. Bad error, but I didn't think. I didn't think that dented our confidence that game. You're right. We did have our tails up and we were attacking. We were going for it. And Pellegrini, we'll criticise him for a lot because I think we got a lot wrong today. And I just think there is a lot wrong at West Ham actually with the team at the moment. But there's also quite a few things right. And I do like the way he makes his substitutions. He is proactive and he sent them out to have a go at it and he doesn't give up. So still, despite that, despite having a second mistake, I still felt because of the amount we were attacking, we were still in the game.
Well, he reacted to Pellegrini. He took off the invisible Pedro Obiang. I have to agree, Mike, here. I do not know what he did the whole game he was on the pitch. Invisible Obiang went off as well as the misfiring Hernandez. On came Arnautovic, the half-fit Arnautovic, who was limped about after about 5 minutes. And Perez, Mike, it didn't take long, though. Perez got on the score sheet, header at the back post. Stuart Atwell, the referee, did his best to rule it out through VAR. Unfortunately, he could find nothing wrong with the goal. It had to stand. But Mike, 2-1, did you feel like we were back in the game on then, or did you feel like it was our response was a bit flat despite going a goal back?
Do you know, before we went 2-1 up, we were really having a go at them, weren't we? I thought we were building up to something here. I thought we should have scored maybe the 5 or 10 minutes before that. We had all the pressure. We were really pinning them back. I thought, like, we're having a real crack at them now. As soon as those subs came on, we really started bossing it then. And it's almost like we went 2-1 up and didn't know what to do. We got it back to 2-1. We didn't go 2-1 up, obviously. And we didn't know what to do. It was like, okay, do we carry on like this or sit back? We just sort of got caught in two minds. And they probably went and scored. And I thought we were really had it. I thought we were really back in the game at 2-1. No, but then we just seemed to take our foot off the gas a bit. I know what you mean. Arnautovic did look half fit. And Snodgrass was really got into the game very quickly. I thought, who was exceptional, I thought, at Leicester last week as well, Snodgrass. I'm not a Snodgrass fan. But I thought he was getting stuck into it. Antonio kept going through the whole game. All this stuff, but he's not fit. He kept running right the way through that game. And he's got that thing, he gets fouled, he gets off the floor really slowly and then goes boom, off the way looking for the ball, you know. And I liked that about him. He kept going, and Garner was just looked really, really, really dangerous through the whole game. And we had a bit more balance, I felt, when Snodgrass was on the pitch as well. Do you know what I mean? He's got that ability to, even though he's not particularly quick, he's got that ability to keep the ball and look for the pass and the layoff, and it goes where he wants it to go. Unlike your mate Anderson. I know you're a big Anderson fan, mate. And I honestly, Anderson, I start to wonder, just because you had a rant, I'm going to as well. I really want him to need to adapt. I really want it to be that. We spent so much money on him, and his shorts are so tight. Has anyone noticed how tight his shorts are? Way tighter than anybody else's. And I really want him to need time to adapt. And I really want to believe that him going off at half-time was an energy-saving plan they had done before the game even started. I really want to believe that. But you're right. Do you know what I mean? I really wish you weren't right, but you are. He's terrible. He's been terrible, and he was terrible again today. He was shocking at Leicester as well. Anyway, so in answer to your question, I thought we looked like we were going to score leading up to it. We did score, and you're right. Atwell really didn't want it to count. But then we just seemed to step back a little bit and let them back in.
Well, 2-1 it was, but it wasn't for long because then it was 3-1. Mike, I'll show you the goal. You show me the mistake. The ball come in, but just before that, some guy come on the pitch. But we'll speak about that at the very end briefly. The ball come in, and Llorente, who hasn't scored a goal since February, decided to make it 3-1.
Well, it's one of those things. As you say, you show the mistake. So the ball's about 4 inches off the ground when Llorente hoofs it into the goal, but Ogbonna's decided to try and head it clear. Llorente turns him, and Llorente, we all know how lightning fast Llorente isn't, spins him in the box. Ogbonna then sees the ball coming in and decides to clear it with a diving header, which he got nowhere near, and B, Llorente, it wasn't like Llorente did some acrobatic half volley in the air, was it? It was nearly on the floor when he hoofed it into the goal. So appalling marking from him. All 3 of our goals were needless, weren't they? Let's face it.
Gonzo's this where we're missing Fabianski, Adrian sort of took a couple of steps to come catch this corner, but then hesitated.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked the life out of us. That was it. That killed us. We did have momentum. I thought we were going for it. When I said that we had things going for us, there was a lot right and a lot wrong. That was what was right. We were going, and we hadn't given up. And Mike is right about Antonio. He was the one giving it the battle like it was a derby. He didn't stop today. I know he's not got the best amount of quality, but he fought all game, big, strong, fast, knocking the Spurs players about. But it all went after that goal. And the trouble is, we've got a problem in central midfield. We don't have a problem at goalkeeper and centre back. So I was surprised that we created one for this game.
Yeah, well, the Ogbonna one for the third goal is the reason he's going. It looks like he's way hit with his forearm at one point, but the reason he's going for a diving header is because he's so one-footed, and he has to kick it with his right foot, and he can't do it. So rather than try and kick it with his right foot, he's decided he'll go in for a diving header. Unfortunately, Llorente's a big striker who's able to hold them off to an extent. 3-1, it was game over. Spurs just seemed to be able to sucker punch us 3 times during the game when they needed to, and that was the difference between us and them. They had 3 chances. They scored all 3. We had some decent half chances and scored none of them. And right at the very end, Phil Gonzo in the 90th minute, Michail Antonio got sort of squashed, chopped down in the box, and the referee Stuart Atwell managed to not use VAR for this occasion and somehow not award a penalty despite having a TV there, which will give him a replay and allow him to make the call.
Yeah, I mean, this is just bad news. We didn't lose the game because of that incident. We lost the game because of defensive mistakes. Yeah. So let's just say now, before all the comments come out, Tottenham are going to win the game anyway. But what's the point in having VAR if you are going to do that? The whole point of having a video referral system is so as you cut out the controversy, so as you cut out the injustice in the game. Well, it was a complete injustice, and you made the point earlier that he seemed to almost be trying to find every little angle of Raul Perez's goal out, which was perfectly fine. Yet he didn't. He allowed that 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes of rolling footage. Like he didn't allow us one glimpse, and that's just wrong. So actually, he creates an injustice when the whole thing is meant to alleviate it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I actually feel a little bit cheated by that. Not that I think we would have won, but. You know, we talk about players' confidence and stuff like that. Maybe that would have done someone some good. You know, maybe Antonio gets off the deck and he takes the penalty and pops it in or something like that. I don't know, which helps us in the next game. But I wasn't impressed with that refereeing at all there.
Gonzo finished 3-1. We're out of the cup. Me and you label this as our most important game of the season so far. The emotion, if you like, has been sucked out of us during the 90 minutes, I think we knew the game was over quite long to go. But actually, the more you talk about it, the more you think about it, the more pissed off I get, actually, because that was our biggest game of the season for me. And you talk about Antonio trying hard and Snodgrass trying hard. I'll give you that. I thought 1 or 2 other players, the 3 young players were Diop, Rice, Diagana. I'll include them. But it just felt like the other half of the team couldn't be arsed at all. Obiang ghosted through it. I know it's Halloween. There's no pun intended here. But Obiang just ghost through that game as little as possible. Fredericks looked like a rabbit in the headlights for most of the game. Masuaku, all he had to do for the second goal was literally stand still and let the ball hit him. That's all he had to do. He didn't have to jump and try and control it or that. There was no one around him. Son was 10 yards behind him. He had no one around him. A more cultured player, if you like, would have literally just stood there, let the ball hit him and controlled it, and off he went. But he didn't. He tried some fancy touch or something and balls it right up. There's sometimes in football you don't need to try the tricks and the flicks and stuff. You just need to do the basics right. And tonight we didn't do the basics right. We had a lot in the final third with a lot of bits and pieces, and I felt at one point our aim was just to fire the ball into the box as hard as possible and hope someone could knock it to the net. And it was working because Spurs were having to boot it out for corner after corner, and it was working a little bit. And I thought we were building momentum. But it was almost like Spurs thought, actually, as long as we keep them at bay, eventually one of them back forward over there is just going to balls it right up, and we're going to be in at the goal. And it worked on 3 occasions, if you like, Gonzo. But we're out of the cup, and where's it gone wrong for us tonight?
Well, I think we got the makings of a good half a team. And that's really the issue. There's so much work he's doing. You mentioned Masuaku. I wouldn't be surprised the manager of Pellegrini's experience looked at that exact moment and thought, I need a new left back. We said about half chances for Hernandez. Hernandez is best. Those are 2 chances, just not half chances, 2 chances. Midfield, we've got major issues. As I say, the centre backs, I think when we have that sorted, if he learns anything, if a man of his vintage does still learn, and I think he probably does, it is that when we do get to the FA Cup today, actually, I'm not going to muck around with my spine there, because he was so close. He did put out a strong team. It was a strong team. But I think he will look at that, and I think he'll be worried at fullback. He'll be worried. I think central midfield, he'll be worried. Centre forward is going to be a worry for him. And the fact that even a half-fit Arnautovic was still causing problems shows how reliant we are on him. I think it'd be a dream come true if eventually he does get Lanzini back. But we need to now, and it is gutting because we've looked forward so much to this. And you know what, having seen off Wimbledon and Macclesfield, and then you get to a point at Tottenham where actually there was a point where we were back in the game and we were playing well. Just defensively to do that is a very... It's just very, very bad, and we don't need it. We don't need it against our closest rivals, quite frankly. So we get back on it. We have to get back in the league. We have to win against Burnley. Otherwise, things start to turn a little bit sour. There's so much to admire about what Pellegrini does, but the personnel is a concern. There's a lot of work needs to be done with our personnel going forward if we're going to do something in the FA Cup, which immediately that was over today. I'm looking forward to the FA Cup because that's what we do, but lessons have got to be learned.
Mike, we're all sitting here saying we did all right. Like spells tonight, we did all right. We had our chance, we just couldn't score. It's not the first time, it's not the second time, it's not the third time or the fourth time we've said that this season. This is our problem this season. Usually we're leaking them, we're scoring 2, but still getting beat. Now we're actually conceding 1 and getting no points. Or tonight, I know it's a cup game and stuff, but you know what I'm trying to say, Mike. We're struggling for goals here. This team is struggling for goals.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to look about what was different between us and Spurs is Spurs had that bit of quality in attack. You said already they had 3 chances, they scored 3 goals, and you can blame that on our defending for those particular goals, and rightly so. But also, you know, they had the calmness or composure to put the ball in the back of the net. With that composure up front, even Arnautovic isn't the most composed striker, though he's good. I'm not knocking Arnautovic. I think he's a really good player, but. We need someone of that ilk that can just be calm in front of goal and do the right thing, which Hernandez totally failed to do with his chances. Do you know what I mean? And we appear to, we pass the ball around, we get ourselves in good positions, and then it all sort of fizzles out. That's kind of what we do. I like the way we play. I like the way that Pellegrini sets us up to play with the ball moving around the pitch. We can move. We used to just pass it on the back four slowly and then thump it forward. Now we move quite smoothly up towards about 10 yards out of the penalty area and then run out of ideas very quickly. A lot of that's to do with the players that are there to unlock that defence as well. Don't forget Anderson being such a bitter disappointment to us. You know, it leaves us with really and with. Wilshere being injured, really all we're left with is now Snodgrass, who I think is having a good season, but to unlock, we need someone else as well to unlock defence. Steve Garner's been a rare light. He's appeared from nowhere from the youth team, and he looks far more likely than Anderson or anyone else to unlock a defence for us. But even when he did, and he did do it, we weren't able to. We didn't have the composure to finish, which I always thought Hernandez, that's what he was all about, but he didn't. And you can't. I know I'm over focusing on Hernandez and his couple of chances, but the Spurs ones went in. Ours didn't end off. And this is the story of our season so far. And you're bang on to say that. We look solid suddenly out of nowhere. We look so not tonight, but when we've got that first choice to defensive, we look solid. But Diop is a beast. Balbuena's quite a classy little defender next to him. We've got a really good goalkeeper. We've known we need a left back now for 3 or 4 weeks, haven't we? I mean, we've all been saying it. And Zabaleta's playing out of his skin. I actually thought Fredericks wasn't that bad tonight. He wasn't great, but he wasn't that bad. And that's our issue. We just lack class and we lack composure in front of goal. And we lack composure with that last through ball from the majority of the team that are meant to be the creatives. As for Obiang, I can't believe he was on the pitch. He was on the team sheet. Did you see him touch the ball?
Gonzo, we spoke about the highlights. We spoke about the tactics to an extent. We've touched upon individual players, but as always, I'll ask you, pick your players. You can praise them or you can criticize them. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll go with praise, because otherwise we're into otherwise I'll just pick on Anderson, and we're into a situation that you had last year with Coyote, where I you know what I mean, where I'll jump on every video and I either go at Anderson. I'm going to leave it. So, there you go. I've just said it. Never mind, leave it. So I'm going to go with praise. Diop, Declan Rice, Dejan Garner. Was really pleased with all of them. It could have been worse, by the way. You said they had 3 chances. They actually had 4. Diop stopped Son.
Oh yeah.
So you know that was something. Also, Diop made a mistake in that game, but he actually got back and rectified it within half a second. Stuck out his sort of go gadget leg and got the ball anyway. I did think Antonio battled really, really well and kept going. I really liked what Mike said about the people that are meant to have the key to unlock the door, and they're not just do it. You know, they're just not doing it. The calmness, composure in front of goal. When Mike was saying that, he's absolutely right. It was meant to be Hernandez. That is what he does and what he has traditionally done. We do have a player that is calm in front of goal and will just dink it over. But unfortunately, it's Lanzini and he's not available at the moment. But yeah, I'll praise those. And as we said, Snodgrass for his industry, I was pleased to see. You know, he does chase. He chases. So yeah, that's about all I can say, mate. I'm gutted, really, absolutely gutted. There's only one thing worse than losing. That's losing to Tottenham.
I'll agree with the Antonio thing. I think he worked hard. I think I've been trying to be quite positive about Antonio this season, actually. I think I've tried to praise him as much as possible. And tonight, I can't fault his work ethic, but him and Snodgrass, I'm just not sure they've got the talent, the capabilities. If you like, you two talk about knocking on, not having the key to unlock the door. Them two are banging on the door, but that's the problem. I'm not sure they're good enough to unlock the door. If you like, they're knocking on it, waiting for someone else to come and unlock it because they can't do it. And it's very well having your hard workers, etc. But eventually, you need that little bit of quality in the team as well. That's where Anderson's supposed to come in, though. They're supposed to be working hard. So Anderson can be the one that does all the bits that they can't do. Unfortunately, it's not working. Tonight, the centre midfield scares me. Like, it really does scare me for going into Saturday's game. I know it's Burnley, but they're one of the hardest working teams in the league. They've had a crap start to the season, so they're up against it. They're going to be right up for this game. And Sean Dyche is going to be looking and going, that midfield, apart from Rice, they don't have they're soft. We have a very soft centre now. We've got one or two tough, hard players, Diop, Zabaleta, etc. But we don't have that many. Our front three, okay, Arnautovic, but like you've got Anderson, Diagana, and then in midfield, if you have Obiang, etc. They're not for a battle. They're not for a fight. We've seen that tonight. I think we were lacking commitment. We were lacking endeavour. We were lacking passion, if you like. There was none of that. That did not look like a London derby tonight. It did not look like a cup game. There was a few players, the young ones got away with it tonight. I thought they tried hard and did what they could, but it's the senior ones that let them down, actually. There was probably one or two shirts up for grabs on Saturday, and no one out there tonight made a claim for them that wasn't already starting against Burnley, and that's a concern. There is one or two players you can praise. I think, like I said, Diop, Rice, Diagana. I thought Diagana, by the way, was superb, actually. I thought he was really, really good. He gets fouled a lot, and I think when you're an attacking player, if you get fouled a lot, it's a compliment. It's the biggest compliment you can get, and that is when you get the ball, the opposition defenders are scared, so they take you out. I think that's the biggest compliment you can get from a defender, and he's getting fouled a lot as well, and that's really good. Thought Arnautovic changed the game. Just when he got the ball, Spurs took a yard back, whereas when Hernandez and Anderson got the ball, they were in their face straight away, but Arnautovic got this sort of, hang on a minute, this guy can do something, and that's just the difference between our players at the minute. Our first 11 is really good, but it seems to be when you come away from the first 11, it's a little bit questionable, and we're never going to have the first 11 fit. And it's just the one player I'm also going to dig out, actually, is Ogbonna. He was awful tonight. Not just the 2 goals he conceded. Every time he got the ball at his feet, he took about 4 touches he received it from Diop. He took about 4 touches to get out to Masuaku. There's no need for 4 touches. We're trying to get the ball moving swiftly. He's slowing everything down at the back. He's just so I remember doing the previous start of the season and it was picked out the players going to last. I remember saying Ogbonna because he just can't play in a back four. He just can't do it. He's good in a back five or three, whichever way you look at it. But in a four, he just goes to sea. He doesn't know what to do. And today he's so lethargic. He's so slow. And it's a shame because he's one of those players you want, a bit like Mike was saying about Anderson, you want him to do really well. You want to see Ogbonna do well. He's a likable person, etc. But he was pissed tonight. He really, really was. And Balbuena was watching from the bench. He's probably laughing his arse off, thinking, "Is that my competition?" I'm going to worry about. The thing, put it this way: Balbuena and/or Diop can play crap against Burnley, and they'll still start the following weekend. That's key, and that's a worry. Mike, what about yourself?
Well, I'll start with you. Ended then with Ogbonna. And it's got. I mean, Ogbonna. There is you could put forward the idea that he's lacking match fitness or whatever because he hasn't been in the team much, but. You only have to look at what happened for the first few games when he played. We're just getting stuffed, weren't we? I mean, the defense came together when we hit the back four, which we generally play with. We didn't play with today. We generally play with. And I agree. It's a shame we didn't go with that. So, but anyway, getting back to the game, I thought Antonio, and I completely agree with you. He lacks quality at the end, but at least he moves the ball up the pitch for us. He makes them move backwards, right? He's good at doing that. If he could pass as well, he would be deadly, wouldn't he? He'd be an England player. But at least he did that, and he worked all the way through, and I salute him for that. Rice was excellent. His passing was superb, especially as it was just him in midfield. Let's face it. Because Obiang had just gone, I don't know, he was hiding or dressed as a ghost or something. I thought Fredericks wasn't as bad as you guys thought he was. I thought he had an all right game. Again, he wasn't brilliant, but he worked hard and he's very quick getting forward, very quick tracking back when he has gone forward. And of course, Diop was superb because Diop is always superb. Diangana, on the other hand, I thought he had a really good game against us. He had a good game against Leicester, and tonight he went about 50% better than that even. Do you know what I mean? He's just improving every time he walks on the pitch now, and that's what you want to see from a young player that you want to develop. Every game, he's visibly better. And who knew he could take set pieces? Do you know what I mean? Because he needs to be taking them if the other option's Anderson. Anderson we've already covered it, was absolutely shocking. And we just lack composure in that farm pass. Exactly what I'm saying, Gio, right? We just don't have that last pass to put in. We just don't have the composure to make that pass. And then even when we do get it through, we don't have the composure to finish. And for me, Anderson isn't doing it. Snodgrass can do it to a certain extent, but he's not that classy player that we need there. He's not a Lanzini, is he? Let's put it like that, yeah. And I'm warming to him a bit, though. He does work hard, and he can deliver a set piece as well. So, yeah, that's about it. I thought Adrian was wobbly at times. He worries me. By the way, his kicking was shocking, wasn't it? It was absolutely awful. Maybe we've just got used to Fabianski's, but oh God, oh yeah, I remember this. It was really bad. But so that's my view of the game really. And who else is there to talk about? Masuaku, he was all right going forward, wasn't he? But he was again to blame for the second goal. Very, very poor. I thought at the back all the way through, and our midfield is just shocking. We all said, and I've already said this, and other shows on this channel, we all said. We needed major work on the midfield before the transfer window happened. We didn't, and now we're paying the price.
Mike, I think I know who you're going to go for, but can I get your man of match, please?
I'm going to have to go for Diangana.
I will agree with you. Gonzo, can I get your man of match and any final words on the game itself and the fact we're out the cup?
A couple of Diangana. He did stand out, and he sparkled today. He was the only one that did sparkle, if you like. Rice would run him second. Just to touch on the points we made about this unlocking the door, and here's the one that I find the most worrying thing. The players that he earmarked Pellegrini to unlock the door were Anderson and Yarmolenko. One of them can't do it and doesn't look suited to the Premier League, and the other one is just, well, he's injured and is injured for a long, long time. Those are the two guys that was meant to do it, and it does worry me about the judgment in purchasing players, which that's something, whether it's him or the director of football, we maybe need to look at in another show.
Diagana my man of match as well. What I said about him when we played Leicester, he's fearless. He is fearless. He's willing to. He's not afraid to get tackled by a defender by trying to take them on and stuff. And it took him about 3 minutes to turn Aurier inside out over in that wing at one point. And it was just fantastic to see. The ball to Hernandez was pinpoint. I thought Hernandez actually did a good pass to Antonio. He just couldn't get there in time. I thought the move was brilliant, and that got me excited, if anything. But from there on, it was all a bit downhill, to be honest. The highlight came within the 3rd minute, and that was it. I'm actually pissed off to be out of this cup, to be honest with you. I'm disappointed with the lack of effort by some of the players tonight. Obiang, Ogbonna, Masuaku. I don't think Fredericks is looking very good. I've yet to see a good performance from Fredericks apart from pre-season, but they don't count. Apart from the youngsters, I don't think there's much positive to take from it. Snodgrass Antonio worked hard, lacking quality. Hernandez has the quality, lacking confidence. Anderson has the quality, lacking confidence. There's a lot of things we're lacking at the moment at West Ham, but one thing we're not lacking is defeats in cup finals. That's 2 cup final wins for Spurs in the space of 2 weeks at West Ham. That's been Gonzo, that's been Mike, I've been Gio. I hope you've enjoyed your Halloween. We certainly got a bit of no tricks and no treats at the London Stadium tonight. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you me. I'll be back tomorrow night on Thursday, looking ahead at the Burnley game where, well, we'll be asking is Pellegrini going to be bringing out the changes and what do we do? There's not much players to choose from, but we'll see you there.